Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamasal, and it is Thursday, like Thursdays. And it is raining. Just a little bit. Not nasty rain. Just sort of drizzly. I'm not going to be a dry day sort of rain. Clouds are socked in. And I'm very grateful to have a car that doesn't leak and can keep me warm. I was wondering what to talk about today when it struck me that somebody had written to me recently, and I can't remember who, and asked me to talk about pretend friends or false friends. And I get that question, I think, quite a bit. So obviously there's a great need, and if you're the person who wrote this request to me, this one's for you. So I'm really conflicted about how to answer this for you, and I'll explain why. It begs the question, what is a friend? Obviously, and a friend is different things to different people. And I just want to tell you that during my lifetime, my requirements of a friend have changed completely depending on what sort of age and maturity I'm in. I think when I was at school, for example, a friend was anybody who liked me was a friend. And I've noticed talking to school kids or teenagers, one of the things that seems to be quite a movable feast is, as the expression goes, which is, who is your best friend? And so it was interesting because I've listened to young people tell me, well, so-and-so is my best friend, and then within a day somebody else is their best friend. And, so it goes on, sort of thing, which is, it changes with the day. And yet there are other people who've had best friends at school and will have them for all of their lives. So I guess the first thing I'd say is that true friends are people where you can have a relationship all your life. That doesn't mean they're perfect. That doesn't mean that they do all the right things. It's just that you choose to see them in that light. And here's where the complications start. Because a lot of being a false friend is about your perception of them. Now, to give you an example, somebody wrote to me recently, and they were talking about the fact that their friends had all decided to go and see some show. And because she is slightly claustrophobic, she had asked for her to have a seat rather than be in the mash pit, because that whole standing in the pit thing really affects her claustrophobia. And what her friends did was to get tickets in the pit, because that's where they wanted to be. And not only that, the consensus, the majority wanted to be there. So, did this make them bad friends? I don't think it made them bad friends. It made them people who didn't talk about it and just say, hey, we want to be in the pit, so we'll get you a seat in the seating area, but you just won't be able to be with us, because we really want to be in the pit. That wouldn't make them bad friends. That would make them very honest. And that's why I have concerns about what makes a false friend. I don't think a friend is somebody that agrees with everything you say and do. And that's when I was young, that's where the confusion was. Because I thought that's what it was. I thought we were perfectly in sync. The same way as I later, when I grew older and got married, thought that that's what a husband was meant to do. Be perfectly in sync. Yeah, right. How stupid was that? And so you look at what makes a false friend, you have to look at what makes a true friend. So any of you who are querying this business about what is true friendship, you may want to do what I encourage a lot of people to do all the time, which is to take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle of it from top to bottom. On the left-hand side, write down all the things that you think make a true friend. And on the right-hand side, write down all the things you think make a false friend. And what you will find is that the two match up pretty well. In other words, if your idea of a true friend is somebody that you can trust not to betray you, then on your false friend side, you've probably got betrayal, people who betray you. So they're normally values issues. For example, you might have a true friend if somebody doesn't steal my boyfriend. And that would be particularly relevant if a friend ever had. So again, it's about what's your experience of friendship. And if certain people that you thought you could trust let you down and hurt you, then you will have changed your view of what a friend is. You see, life changes your view of what a friend is. I'm very different today in terms of the number of friends and what they mean to me. I guess I've been hurt so many times now by people I thought were friends that, you know, you get a bit callous, I'm afraid. You get a bit sort of, been there, done that. And so for me, my expectation of friends is different now, to some degree. I think on my list of what makes a true friend today, it was somebody who plays fair. In other words, you know, somebody who, you know, I don't mind my friends telling me the truth if they see what I'm doing is wrong in their view. I understand it's just their view. I'm not looking for them to approve of everything I do. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people I call my friends today would not approve of the fact I work all day and then start work again when I get home to do these broadcasts and do the uploads and the edits and everything else. They'd say, you know, at your age you should be relaxing and, you know, whatever. No, that isn't a lack of love. In fact, it's the opposite. It's a great deal of love. They want to make sure I don't overtire myself or get out of control in that way. I just realized I didn't give you a weather report, other than the fact it was raining. It's pretty cool. It's 8 degrees Canadian and 47 American. And it doesn't look like it's going to get a whole lot better today. Anyway, so do you get what I'm talking about here? Which is, it all depends on your perception of what friendship is. And also, you need to look at whether your perception of what friendship is realistic. Is it realistic that you have a friend who's always pleased to see you, always wants to listen to you, always wants to, you know, go and do whatever you want to do, always, you know. And if your answer to that is yes, that's your definition of a friend, get a dog, not a human being. Because I don't know a human being alive that is going to be perfect. I just don't see it. It's not realistic. We're all going to have good days and bad days. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Overall, are they pretty good friends? If the answer is yes, they're not false friends. But if you look at one oops and say, okay, that's it, they're not a friend anymore, then what sort of a friend are you? So to me, to actually make this make any sense, I would have to talk to somebody almost one-on-one to find out what their views are about friendship. And then maybe I could talk to them about what false friends are. It's like the perfect boss, you know. Who's the perfect boss? A perfect boss isn't somebody who doesn't ever get frustrated with you. It depends on your performance. You know, if your performance is pretty bad on a regular basis, I'm pretty sure your boss is not going to be the perfect boss. And yet, quite honestly, your boss could be. For the right person who meets the boss's criteria of what a good employee is. So these absolutes of friends, false friends, perfection in any human being are really dangerous, because you're bound to get disappointed at some level. So what is my answer to this? I'm not sure, really. I think it's perfectly normal, depending on the age group. I would expect young people to be asking me about friends versus false friends. By the time you reach middle age, well, not even middle age, by the time you reach your 30s, let's say, you start to really realize that, life as you knew it is not quite as simple as you saw it. There are more gray areas than before. By now you will have had a lot of people stand up and be counted when you least expected them to, and others just drop you like hotcakes. And again, sometimes people come into our lives for a short space of time. Sometimes they come in for a long space of time. But again, they don't necessarily come in forever. And then I think as you get older, another thing comes into play. You know, you value the few friends you've got left. Oh, I want to assure you, and I want to make this point as well, that in my days of being famous, I'm going to word it that way, I had a lot of friends. A lot of friends. A lot of people wanted to know me. A lot of people want to be part of my life, and I got invited all over the place to do all sorts of things, and it was really fascinating to me. And then some things happened in my life where I wasn't able to keep up that level of famousness, let's call it that. And I noticed that the number of friends that I had started to fall away. In other words, they were what the viewer is calling false friends. They were fair weather friends. I think some people call them that. People who are friends only when things are going right for you, not when things are going wrong for you. And so that's another definition. Do you have people around you that will stick by you through thick and thin? In other words, you know, they will stick through with you when you are doing well, but also will be there for you when life is not doing so well and that you're struggling. Because I don't think there's a better definition of a friend than somebody who not necessarily in your face all the time, but somebody you know you can trust to be there for you if the wheels come off your life. I guess when you are most vulnerable. So, difficult subject. And I'm sure you've all got your version of this. I'm sure a lot of you have both experiences of this and also have got stories about people that you thought was a friend and then turned out not to be. I hold a lot of store in friendship. You know, I believe in friendship. But I also believe in being straightforward and honest. So if my friendship with you is predicated, but maybe based isn't a more acceptable word, is based on the fact that I agree with everything you say, then please do not even consider me as a friend. Because that's not who I am. You know? It just is not who I am. I have a voice and I have opinions and I will voice them. I will try and be gentle about it. Don't always succeed. But, you know, that's, you know, if you want me to agree with everything and just be your yes person, you have picked the wrong person as a friend. And therefore, I'll make a useless friend to you. But if you pick me for a friend because you want somebody who will see both sides of the story and be your sort of devil's advocate in some areas, somebody who will go, whoa, wait a minute, what about this, that, and the other? Yeah, I'm known for that. So, but is a friend, for example, somebody who always lends you money? No. Is a friend somebody who drops everything just because you call? No. That's not friendship. To me, a friend, if I call and say, hey, let's go and do X, Y, and Z, and they say to me, hey, I'd love to do it, Sal, but, I'm already booked. That doesn't make them not a friend. It makes them honest. I like that. So, have a look at your life and have a look at your friends and have a look at your life in terms of how long you've been alive, and give us some feedback, because everybody likes to see the comments. Give me some feedback and give the viewers some feedback on what your definition of a friend or a false friend is. And if you can, let us know your age as well, because I want people to see that it probably shifts a bit depending on what your age is. And I would also like to say that friendship crosses all sorts of borders and boundaries and goodness knows what else. I mean, I've had some of the most opposite people to me be really good friends. And yet I also remember my mother saying to me time and time and time again, you are judged by the friends you keep. That was actually a very interesting commentary. So what she was saying, and you understand my mom was, bless her heart, a snob. You know, if I mixed with well-to-do fancy people, then well-to-do fancy people would like me. And they would be my friends. But if I mixed with people, and this would be her wording, below my class, because that was the British aristocracy thing, then, you know, obviously I would not attract the upper class people, unquote. So that was, to me, that was just like, wow, this is not about, you know, friendship. This was about conditional return for your investment. Like a return on investment. So I found that quite amusing, and I still do to this day. Now, over the years, I've had some very influential friends. I've had some very influential acquaintances, but I've also had some pretty influential friends. And so, but today I don't really sort of hold a lot of stock in that. It's not a big concern for me. So, I'm not sure I solved this problem. And the reason I haven't solved it is I don't believe there is an answer. So much of what is friendship, both true and false, is about perception and values and your changing needs. And if you understand that, then hopefully you'll give some people who you are not happy with at the moment a second chance. And maybe regain a friend that you thought you'd lost. Some of the best advice I ever got was in a chiropractor's office one day. And this particular chiropractor was working on me, and I guess it was a time of my life where I was feeling pretty down and upset with life. And what this chiropractor said to me is, whatever it is you need in life, give it. In other words, if you need a true friend, be a true friend to somebody else without expectation of return. If you don't like false friends, don't be one. If you're feeling lonely, befriend somebody who's lonely. In other words, the way you change your life, whatever the situation is by doing something to change it, not by waiting for somebody else to change your life, not waiting for somebody else to fix your life, not waiting for... The way you change your life is your behavior needs to change. You know, if you sit inside all day, you know, playing video games or whatever, don't expect to have a whole lot of friends. If you spend your whole time tweeting with one friend, boy, that's going to hurt if that friend ever goes away. Because all your effort has been put into just maintaining one friend. And that's a very dangerous scenario. I think it happens a lot to people who had friends and then got married, for example, and then dropped the friends because now they're married. Well, hello. Really recommend you hang on to your friends when you get married. And go and see them and make time for them and do things with them. Because the chances are, oops, really got to stop hitting the pavement like that. The chances are they'll be there for you if it ever happens that you're not married. This is DearMamasal saying that was quite a serious subject today. Bye for now.